Hi, everybody. It's Melissa Murray, as you can see here. This is our CoPath screen. After you've input your logon information, which you'll get on day one, this is where you will be brought to. So here you have a menu. Your menu may look different than mine. You can customize this section. And we have a lot of function buttons right here. So you can access a case one or two ways. If you know what function you're going to do, meaning you're going to enter a diagnosis, you can click here, Final Diagnosis, which brings up this window where you can type in a case number, or you can, the preferred method is actually that you scan with the bar scanner, which each of you will have on your desk. I don't have a bar scanner for this because this is test CoPath. If you're looking for a specimen and you're not really sure what function you're going to do right now, then rather go directly to the function. You can go here to just general specimen, type in the number or barcode the number, hit search, and there you go. Now, if you have one case number for a patient, but you're wondering if this patient has more cases, you can click same patient and all the cases associated with this patient will show up. So you can search through and see whatever other pathology they've had. You may need to do it that way. Also, since we got to this screen through the specimen button, you do have to pick an activity before you open up the case. This is the full list of activities that are available. I have an abbreviated list on my menu on the screen we saw before. But so let's say that for this case, breast MRI biopsy, I need to put in the diagnosis. So you click Final Diagnosis Entry Edit and OK. So now we're in the patient's case. The first tab here is worksheets. If you're going to use a worksheet, source text. This gives you what the accessioners have put in, the part type, the description, collection date, receive date. This field, you can click different icons here depending on what you want to take a look at. So there's nothing in the final diagnosis right now. If there had been a frozen section, intraoperative diagnosis, that text would show up here. You want to look at the gross description, that text will show up here, so on and so on. This is a test case, which is why a lot of this information is not inputted. Okay, so you're the fellow, you have your case, you put it in the number, you're in Final Diagnosis Entry Edit. What do you need to do? Number one, go to staff and type in your name. We need to know where the cases are, who is handling the cases, so that needs to go right there. Then you actually need to type in the attending's name. So here I did it reverse. I put my name, the attending, and then I put our fellow's name. So billing, you need to check. It's automatically put in, but it's not always correct. So you do need to check the billing fee codes and make sure those are correct, that the units are correct, and that the source, which part type this belongs to, is correct. So when these billing codes are put in automatically, if they are incorrect, the only way to get rid of them is to right-click and delete the fee code. If you try to change a fee code that has been put in automatically by the system, so this is an L4, say no, it's actually should be an L5, you'll get this. You cannot change it because it was entered through a dictionary link. And that just means that you need to go ahead, delete it, and then you could put in your L5, 1 unit for part 1. Okay, so the case opens up, it brings you to worksheets. You definitely need to go in and put in the names of the attending and the fellow, your name, double check the billing. For departmental consult cases, you have to put in QA information. So here, what you do is it used to be OU for outside slide review. hit tab. This information, your name will automatically pop up here. You'd have to add in the attending's name. And then automatically populates with agree. What we generally use is agree or minor disagreement for slight inconsistencies between the outside diagnosis and our diagnosis, or major, as you can see, I'm not great at typing, major disagreement. Okay, so in-house cases, you do not have to do the QA tab, but for the departmental consults, or we call them DCs, the QA needs to be filled in. Okay, so you have your biopsy case and you need to put in the diagnosis. We have synoptic diagnostic worksheets for the majority of our services and case types. So for breast, if you type in breast and hit the 3 dots, oh, I went to my other screen. You have the synoptic lookup, and you can go through and find the appropriate breast template that you want. Now we have a hotkeys system here, which we'll explain to you. So many of these have a short hotkeys. We'll install it on your computers, and you can just type in a few letters, characters here to get the correct worksheet to pop up. But especially at the beginning, if you're not sure of what worksheets we have available, you can search for them this way. So here we have breast core biopsy benign, breast core biopsy malignant. I want benign. Okay, what part is it for? And then you click here to open the worksheet. So here's the worksheet. Every service is slightly different in the way they handle things. For the breast service, if this information, specimen type, laterality, procedure, is in the information that has been accessioned in the specimen part type, you don't need to repeat it here. So here's our options for diagnoses: columnar cell changes, stromal fibrosis with calcifications and benign epithelium. This is good. I'm done with my worksheet. I will click complete. I will click OK, and that will be populated right here. If you need to make a change, you just make sure you're on part 1, open the worksheet, and you can make a change. If you forget to click the worksheet complete, then the diagnosis doesn't show up here. It's still here in the worksheet, but just because you didn't click the complete button, it doesn't show up in the final diagnosis box. Okay, I'm stressing the system a little. If you put in a worksheet, so here, let's do, you can hit tab, and we'll do another biopsy worksheet. This would be for part 2, right? And so we have cancer. So say you have a worksheet, but then either the attending or yourself, you decide, no, I actually don't want that worksheet. So you can right click and delete the synoptic worksheet if that's what you need to do. And when you do that, you'll get this button, this box that will say, wait, are you sure you want to do this? It's going to affect the text. If you're sure you want to do it, you click continue. Are you sure? Okay, yes, I'm sure. So if you see here, it disappeared here under the worksheets, but the text that was in that worksheet still appears in the final diagnosis box. You have to click this regenerate final text field to get the text to disappear. Now, sometimes an attending will say, no, I don't want to use the worksheet for that diagnosis. So now you've deleted it, and they say, I want to type out the diagnosis. There is no worksheet for this type of diagnosis. In that case, you click the edit text. The worksheet information that you have is here. It's in this grayed out box. Anything in this grayed out box means it comes from a worksheet, and you cannot adjust it here in the Word document. So we need to put in the diagnosis for part 1. So you go to this AB button, you click this, and it will insert all the parts for this case. We already have a diagnosis for part two, so I'm just going to delete that. This heading is bolded, so we like to keep our reports uniform, and you should go ahead and bold this heading. We tend to go with 4 dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a dash. I know it looks different than what the worksheet puts out, but this is how we do the written diagnoses. And of course, some attendings may have certain quirks on how they like to do it, and they will let you know. So here, then you can just type in whatever they said, you know, no tissue seen. That's it, you're done with your diagnosis. Sometimes you may have a worksheet and the attending wants you to put in a long note. You can put that note in underneath the worksheet here, free text, and that will all come up together. Okay, so you're done with what you need to do in the Word document. You have to click Save and Return to CoPath. Okay, so now we have in our final diagnosis what we typed in for on the Word document, what is in our worksheet for part 2, and then down here you have the note. Let me show you something else about the worksheets. There is an area here, comment for worksheet, to put a note. It used to have a character limit, but I do believe they've increased that. So it depends. If it's a relatively short note, it can be put here. Sometimes for longer notes, it's easier to just put them directly into the Word document. This is menu. I think there's something else. Hold on, it's updating. Okay, not sure why it's a little bit stuck. Let's see. Okay, so you're done with this case. And when you're clicking out of the case, I clicked X, but really the best thing you should do is click the Save button here, this little disc. So how do you want to save this? Final complete, send it to the pathologist, send it to the fellow, or no action. So no action will save what's there, but it's just not going to send it to anybody. For the fellows, you really should send it to yourself so you can see it on your work list. And that's why it's important that you put your name there. And then maybe you want to say, I think we should order IHC, ER. You can put little notes in here. These notes will appear in a column in your work list. And then when you send it to the attending, those notes will appear in the attending's work list. So yes, we want to save this case. Sometimes this pops up. You can just tell it to stop and to continue filing anyway. Okay. Another couple things I want to show you. This is the button that will show you your work list. Since I had saved that to the fellows work list, it's not showing up on my work list yet. Okay, and your work list will be the same. You'll have all the cases that you've prepared here with the notes on the side. Okay. Second, inquiry. So if you're just kind of looking for a case and you're not exactly sure what you want to do, or you want to just look up the diagnosis, you put the number in here. Here is the case. This is an inquiry. Once you go into the inquiry menu, there aren't actually that many different activities that you can do. You can't edit cases from the inquiry menu, but here it will show you, this is what the inquiry looks like. So this is a breast case. It came from our site in Long Island. This is the attending that submitted it. This is the pathologist assigned to the case. It is not yet signed out. Here is the preliminary diagnosis, since it is not signed out yet. Here, this is a useful tab in SSO Other. This can tell you if there are any retrieval flags for tumor blocks that have been entered, or if they're outside slides that we had received. This information will tell you whether or not we still have the slides or whether it's been sent back. Okay. And these other buttons up here, we really don't use that often. So a couple more things. One, for most of our cases, let me see. I showed you how you put in the worksheet here if you need to. If you need to free text it, you go to edit text, right? You put your name in. Okay, and right below here, I forgot to mention this, retrieval flag. This needs to be filled in for every case. This will save you time in the future. So we have flags that are tumor block for impact, and that would be block 1, 1. We have no tumor blocks for this case, so that it's very clear to anybody looking up this case that there's no tumor blocks. If somebody has ordered impact, we have other people who will put through the impact orders in our department, but they are not pathologists, right? There are assistants. They look here for the retrieval flag. If it's nothing is here, they don't know what the situation is. Is it a case that has tumor and the block just wasn't put in? Or maybe there are no tumor blocks for this case, but if it's blank, they don't know that. So it's really important, and it's a time saver down the line if you fill in this information. You should even fill in this information for our consult cases. You can put in the outside number, or you can say like outside hospital block, you know, 2-K. If you have tumors for multiple parts, you can always put that in here. So in part 1, you're picking block 1, 1. In part 5, block 5, 6. So as much information as you can. Let me rephrase that. I mean, pertinent information. If you have multiple cases, that's good. We don't need all the tumor blocks listed here, but the blocks that are best for impact should be listed here. We do have another flag. I think we just have another flag for just tumor cells. No, I'm wrong. Okay. So that's the retrieval flag for tumor cases, and that definitely will save you time down the line. I'm not going to save any of this. Oh, sorry. No. So the next thing that's quite important is knowing how to order stains, okay? So what I did was I went to stain, process, block, and edit, or if you want to go to specimen, I'm actually ordering a stain on the same case that I had just opened. Here I am, here's that case. I can go through here and find, it's alphabetical, so you can actually just click S until you get to stain, process, block, and edit. You open it up, and all right, sorry, this is a bad example. Let's try. This one. Okay. The other one was a bad example because there were no blocks listed. This is test CoPath, so not everything is set up like a real case. But here we do have a block listed for part 2 of this breast biopsy. So you click on the block that you want to order the stains on, and you click Add Stain Process. Here you type the stain. So I want to do ER. I check here. And do I want ER or do I want ERG? If you're really not sure of how we input the stain, you can kind of search through here. For levels, we do recut. That's recut additional H&E. If somebody asks you to order levels or deepers, this is what you want to use. You can just type in, as I said, recut, and hit tab, and that will go automatic. So this is the block that we had picked. How many recuts do I want? I want 3. This is the person that ordered it. If an attending tells you to order the stains or the recuts in their name, then what you need to do is put in their initials. So mine are MPM, hit tab, and my name pops up. And then here is where I would write, I want levels, you know, no trim. Click OK, and you have it. Now I also need to order impact on this case. So here I'm going to order a run stain process group. So impact is a run stain process group. Some of the other molecular orders are under this run stain process group. You'll learn these as we go through the system. So here you can type impact. Now we have impact for normal tissue, 15, normal tissue 20. So 15 is for a surgical case. We do 20 slides for a biopsy, and then impact for tumor. That's the most common one that you would use. This is a biopsy, so you would order 20. You click OK, OK, and then this is OK. Here it is, and it will order the additional H&E recut and then 19 unstained slides for impact. And this will be directly sent to the molecular lab by our histology lab. Okay, and there are your orders that you put in. It shows your initials. You were the person that ordered it. Now, if an attending says to you, oh, you know, I ordered those recuts and I still don't have them, you can double check. I like to double check here in histology data entry edit. So here's our patient. We're looking to see if our recut orders were done. You go here to the histology tab, right? And then here we're in part 1. We didn't order anything in part 1. So we want to go to the next part, part 2. Here is everything that's been ordered and then the status of that order. So it'll tell you it's been ordered, whether it's been printed, which means the label has been printed, and down towards the bottom here, verified. If it's been verified, it means the lab has finished the level, and usually it means they're either about to deliver it if you haven't gotten it yet, or they did deliver it and it's in your mailbox. And if you can't find it, then that's when you got to go check with the histology lab and figure out what happened. So this is a good place if somebody says, hey, you know, where are my levels? You can just double check here first before you go running into the lab to see what's happened. And if it says ordered and you know, it's not up to the printed stage and you ordered it a couple days ago, there's probably a problem and you should bring it to the attention of the histology lab. Okay. Okay, this is going on a little bit long, so I'm going to stop right here, think about other things maybe I should make a recording for. This information is important. It's a lot of information we're going to be giving everybody for orientation, but also on some level, not quite enough. We will be here and around and helping you get through the system in the first few weeks. So don't stress about it, but you can look at this again and you'll have access to this when you arrive in the department. Okay, thank you.